I want to talk to you guys a little bit about an AEW return that is set to happen imminently, one that is desperately needed. And I swear to God, guys, this is going to be a very interesting thing to watch and see unfold because, quite frankly, I don't know how much trust I have with AEW here. But Wrestle Purists Worldwide, you guys might have seen Wrestle Purists. They're known for aggregating content on Twitter and online and on YouTube. They do podcasts and stuff like that. Ibu from Wrestle Purist came out and has reported that Jay White is set to return to AEW imminently, and as of this time, no other details were given. And I just want to talk about Jay White for a second. I want to talk about Jay White for a very big reason because, well, let's just call it what it is. Jay White came into AEW, and I got scolded. I went viral, over 1 million plus views, talking about how Jay White should have signed with WWE. I fantasy booked an entire thing about Jay White going to WWE and debuting at WrestleMania and having a feud with Seth Rollins. And what was really interesting to me was the way that the internet, you know, when things go viral, the internet came after me and they're like, this is garbage, this is bullshit. AEW is going to make Jay White the greatest. And Jay White has obviously not even been remotely close to that. Jay White has been underbooked and undervalued in AEW. You know, all the stuff between him and the Gun Club is cool, but it's not like that shouldn't stop him from becoming a top singles guy in the company, which has become very, very interesting to me because I feel like AEW should be treating Jay White at the top of the card. You know, you look at Bryan Danielson feuding with Jon Moxley, but why not have Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Hangman, Swerve, Jay White, Okada, you know, Kenny Omega, obviously he's hurt, but like those are your top guys. Why is it that Jay White doesn't feel like a top guy in AEW? And why does it that people get so offended when I say that AEW has not booked him the way he should be booked? And it's a very strange situation because I feel like when Jay White came into AEW, he was supposed to be this big deal. And it was very, very noticeable very quickly that he was not treated as a big top guy. So, you know, I just want to say this, like, I feel like I've 100% been correct. And I could find that tweet that went viral, you know, and I remember when that thing popped off, a lot of people, and I don't forget these people. There was some content creators, you know, there's a whole bunch of faceless bullshit accounts, but there were some content creators out there who thought they can talk some shit, and they're eating their words right now. You know, the reality is that Jay White was a top guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jay White could have gone to TNA and been a top guy. Jay White could have gone to WWE and been one of the top guys. But the reality is Jay White came to AEW and he's not a top guy, and nobody has an excuse for it. Nobody has anything to justify. His booking has been flat. It's been garbage. And then, of course, he's missed time. So now we do got to keep that in mind. He missed time. But Jay White should have been immediately presented as a top guy. And it's so strange to me how, like, Will Ospreay comes into this company and he's viewed as one of the top guys and he's viewed as one of the big deals. Why wasn't that applied to Jay White? And it's so weird because I don't know if Tony Khan understands this, and I don't understand why people disagree here. But let's just call it what it is. Perception is reality. You put people on TV, they get injured, they get off TV, they don't feel like a big deal after a long period of time. So the problem is, before they get off of TV, if they're not really doing anything big and memorable, then people don't really give a shit. But unfortunately, I think AEW, they you know, what is it? They create content for the sickos. That's what they say. It's for the sickos. It's for the hardcore audience. Jay White was literally the person that the hardcore audience was telling me. The hardcore audience, the most hardcore audience of them all, was literally blabbing on Twitter about how this guy would come into AEW and he would be far better in AEW than WWE. And now look, all this time has passed. Tony Khan got more toys to play with. Jay White is an afterthought. Listen, Ibu's report that came out is interesting. I do think that Jay White will show up in AEW probably tomorrow. They're celebrating 5-year anniversary, and that's cool, and I'm excited for them. It's probably going to be a great show, and Jay White should be there. Jay White should be dealing with the most important storyline. Yet Tony Khan announces Okada versus Bryan Danielson for the championship, and Okada is holding the Continental Classic title. It's title versus title. Things are being thrown together, and that's cool. You're going to get some great matches out of it, and I'm excited that those matchups exist. But I'm not excited about people coming in, having a big-time matchup, and then nothing really matters after. And for some reason, if this bothers people, I mean, that sucks for you. It doesn't suck for me. It's easy for me to turn off the TV. It's easy for me to change the channel. And by the way, I'm very adamant about this. If you guys have not watched my content before, if you are watching this for the very first time, if you have never seen me talk about wrestling, let me tell you guys something. I built an entire business talking about wrestling, and I absolutely love it. But part of that means you got to have a work-life balance. And I'm telling you guys, I am not going to watch something that I do not enjoy when I would also like to watch sports, and I would like to watch football. I want to watch basketball. I want to go out. I want to enjoy my life too. It's called work-life balance. And sometimes I find it when wrestling sucks and I don't want to watch it, I choose something over pro wrestling every single time. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why people respect me on YouTube, because I am very adamant and very transparent about the fact that if something is not good, then I will not watch it. And if something is very, very good, I will watch it. And I will, look, no matter what, good or bad, I'm going to criticize. I'm going to be open, and I'm not going to be biased towards anything. But at the same time, too, we have gotten to a point in pro wrestling where there's too much of it to go around. Way too much is on Monday through Sunday. So at the end of the day, if things are happening on TV and it's just simply not good, and after week after week after week it's not good and I just don't care for it, I will be very adamant to say, listen, I'd rather go watch the Pistons game. I'd rather go watch the Lions game. I'd rather watch Thursday Night Football. I'd rather watch this. I'd rather watch that. I'd rather do this. You only got 24 hours in a day, my friends. The greatest thing you'll ever hear from me is this. Time is everything. Once you lose time, you lose it all. You can lose $100 today but make $250 tomorrow. That 24 hours that just passed, you never get that back. So I like to value my time very, very carefully. And you guys know by following me, that's something I've always been adamant about. It's the reason why I do what I love every single day, because I know how to choose. I know how to use my time wisely. So I definitely do not give my time to a wrestling show if I don't like it, if I lose my interest with it. And that's what's happened. That's what's happened over the last 2 years with AEW. I went to every pay-per-view. I went to all these events. I did all these great things. If it wasn't for AEW, who knows if I would even be here. They are a great company, but at the same time, too, there are things from a television perspective that I don't like. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I see Jay White be an incredible talent, and I see all these people that are so incredibly talented, and they're presented as a big deal, but then it just goes away, I cannot invest in people. Start and stop pushes, putting people on Ring of Honor when they should be on the main roster. Like, it's very, very simple. I'm not saying be like WWE. All I'm saying is get better at presenting your stars. There's no reason why I should know this and a billionaire doesn't. And Tony Khan should know this. It's inexcusable. It's absolutely hilarious because a lot of people don't talk about, they talk about cyberbullying, but then they will cyberbully you if you don't have the same opinion on them in pro wrestling. Make it make sense. Jay White's been underutilized. He has not been presented as a big deal. Hopefully that changes. I expect it to happen tomorrow. I like Jay White a lot. Hopefully Tony Khan's not dumb enough to just screw this up, but you never know.